Hey, how you guys always notice that when a game has mommy issues, it always ends up being a really bad game? Dragon Age Belgar, but not this one. This one is built with the foundation of what every good game and story starts with: daddy issues. Let me just name a few: Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic 2, God of War, Bioshock, Fallout New Vegas. Did I mention the old Star Wars also? Before Disney fucked it up. Metal Gear Solid. The list just keeps going on and on. Anyway, my point is, games that start with daddy issues are usually the best ones, and I'll prove that. In our New Year's edition, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Okay, this is kind of a small spoiler, but not really because they tell you in the beginning of the game. But basically, you play as Henry, and Henry has a real dad, but his real dad is a noble who refuses to acknowledge him because he's embarrassed of it. So he ends up growing up being raised by an adoptive dad who actually acts like an actual dad. And the rest of the drama, I'm not gonna spoil it for you. You gotta find out by playing the game because this is not gonna be like me telling you the full story. This is more of just a review of the game, of how I feel about it. This game does take place after Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, which basically what happens is that they burn down your village and your adoptive dad, the guy who actually raised you and you care for, was supposed to deliver this sword, and he ended up getting killed by one of the guys, even though he was a super good swordsman. He got caught off guard, and before he died, he left you the responsibility to deliver this sword. But moving on. You know, when people ask me if Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is good, I never really answer straight. Like, I don't straight up answer to them. Nah, I just tell them a story I got. Because this is not just a game, it's literally a medieval black hole that will suck your soul and all the time you have in your life. You'll be sucked into the immersion of the gameplay. You're gonna forget you even have a life outside. So just picture this in your mind. So this is how my story goes. It was Thursday night and I just finished Val, and that game, it was okay, but it left a taste of ass in my mouth. Don't even get me started with that game. That's a topic for a different day, but wow, it's embarrassing to even call themselves an RPG. Anyway, that's not the point. So during that day, I had the next 3 days off. I didn't have to work, so oh yeah, you already know what happened. I let that game freaking consume me. First time I played it, I was playing the game for 72 hours straight. No water, no food. And then I had the smartest idea to get up and bam, I fell right into the floor. Literally passed out on the floor and got dizzy. Passed out like I just finished a medieval marathon. So 2 hours later, I felt better and I did what any degenerate would do, and I just straight up started playing again. I started my second playthrough. I'm telling you, I know I said this before, this game took over my life. Got to the point that my fiance literally threatened to leave me, and I straight up told him to just go ahead and do it. At least the game will still be there, am I right? Sadly, they didn't leave, so I still gotta deal with this person. Now I gotta keep living a double life as a responsible adult and Henry the medieval warlord. I played this game so long that my butt molded into the chair. Now every time I look at my chair, there's like the perfect shape of my butt, so it's just like perfectly just fits in there. I didn't shower for 3 days. That's how good the game was. I became the Asmongold lifestyle me by this point. If Neo just came up to me and they showed me the blue and the red pill, and the red pill will be playing unlimited KDC, playing KDC unlimited, and the blue pill will be sex, so you to be able to have sex in your life. I would definitely choose KDC every freaking time. Okay, so let me give you guys a little bit of context about the story. If you play the first game, you don't gotta worry, like you probably already know the story, so you know the pain. So I already said a little bit of how the story starts from the previous game, that but I'll say it again. So basically in the other game, your village got burned down and your dad was supposed to deliver the sword. He was the best blacksmith. Well, your adopted father, but you consider him your real father. And he got killed when they were burning down the village, and his wish and death was for you to deliver the sword. He wanted a better life for you, but you didn't choose that life. You're on a quest for revenge, but basically what happened was that you're supposed to deliver this letter, and Lord Capon and you decided to go on the lake to sneak creep on some girls. It was like a creep quest, and there was an attack of these bandits, and they kill your whole crew, and now you guys don't have armor. You start from zero. Not only you gotta deliver this letter to make alliances with Capon's uncle, but you have to start from zero and really level yourself up there. You're on a quest for revenge for the guy who killed your dad, but I'm not gonna say no more. That's just a small context. So many things I wish I could tell you, but I really don't want to spoil it. This game makes Game of Thrones look like an actual joke. It makes it look like child's play. And if you didn't play the first game, don't worry. The way that they catch off the player when the player hasn't played the first game, basically they catch you up with PTSD episodes and nightmares. This PTSD episodes and nightmares hit harder than a student loan reminder, I swear. You can actually feel what the character is supposed to feel. Like, you feel so bad. You're like, oh shit, like this is dark and deep. And this game is not just exploration. Life and medieval Bohemia on freaking steroids. The side quests are so freaking worth it. Like, there's a lot of, like, I've never laughed so hard in a game. And there's...
Hey, did you forget your clothes somewhere?
Aye, at your mother's place when I was shagging her.
Are you serious?
There's a lot of dark humor in it. Some of like the interactions with random NPCs, they'll say the most savage shit to you and roast you. Like, I've never played a game that made me laugh this hard. The NPCs, they feel so freaking real. Like, if you do something to someone, they're gonna hold a grudge on you, and sometimes they won't even talk to you, and they'll treat you so different. And some of those NPCs, that shit will be forever, so you better be careful with your decisions, because the reputation system in the game is not like any other game that I've seen. It feels like so realistic, the way they talking everything from the facts in the game, like the historic events and stuff. I kept checking it, and I'm like, oh shit, they really went all out with the research. Like, they really researched that the details and facts in it were actually realistic. At one point there was also like a tiny dinosaurs. You know, those dinosaurs are like the size of chicken. Like, in your first brawl right in the beginning of the game, if you look in the background, you could actually see one of those chasing after a chicken, which technically it's historically accurate because some of those might have been left during that time. It's so weird, they put so much detail in it. Even the smallest details in it, you can notice. I'm like, holy crap. And the more I kept replaying the game and looking closer, I keep finding more and more details. Like, they went all in for this game. Here's one of my favorite quests, and I'm probably gonna play a clip of it. I forgot what the guy's name was. I think it was like Janos or something. This is one of my favorite side quests. And basically, you're supposed to recruit him for your team. When you find him, there's like these guys, and they have him to a rope to his neck, and he's just talking Polish, and they want to kill him. And when you interact, the guy that wants to kill him, he says that the guy that you're supposed to be getting for the quest, he slept with the other guy's wife, and the whole town is now calling him a cockhole. He wants to kill him, and if your charisma is high enough, instead of killing the whole group, you can actually like convince him to let him go, and he goes, but the donkey is the bull is mine. So he slaps the bull, and the bull runs away, and he's like freaking choking. He's like, who's this prick?
What do you want? And
Leave him alone.
and why would I do that? Do you know what that bastard did?
I heard he was friendly with your wife.
Damn.
See? Everyone here knows now I'm a fucking cuckold. He should be glad we're only gonna hang him. Bad my way, we'd castrate him as well.
straight up say he was a cuckold.
I'm telling you, the pole here.
Aye? Why?
Because you'll find it hard to make sausages with 2 broken arms.
You think you scare me? There's more of us.
Okay,
I
then
don't
bring
think
it,
anything.
bitch.
I know you're all shitting yourselves. So for the last time, let him go. Or do you want to say farewell to your teeth?
As you wish, she's all yours. But the cow is mine, and she's coming with me.
Oh, fuck.
Oh. To death. Oh, there's also, but this one is not a side quest. This is one time, I'm probably gonna play a clip of this too. This old lady, like, I know Henry says something about, like, you try to talk to her and she's like a freaking cunt to you. And he says something along the lines, oh, maybe like your house could be set on fire. And he's like, fuck off. What? Or he goes like, she goes like, why are you trying to imply laddie? And she's like, should I get my pitchfork? And I'm like, holy shit, this old lady does not give a shit. She's going ham, ready to throw hands.
Old hag, if you interrupt me one more time...
Fuck up!
With an attitude like that, you must be popular around here. I wonder how quick your neighbours would be to help you if you needed it. I wonder what they'd do if your house should happen to catch fire.
What?
And if you happen by chance to
be locked inside.
What are you implying, boy? Shall I go and get my pitchfork?
Oh, to hell with it then.
Okay, so let's talk about the skill, combat, and crafting. Let's go over that a little bit. The skill tree is actually really simple. It's not overwhelming. Like, I know certain games like Path of Exile 2 have such a big skill tree, and it's just like, it's like a spaghetti in your head. It's just horrible. I mean, it's not horrible. Like, Path of Exile is a good game, but let's say for a beginner, that could be really overwhelming. And what I like about this, like, unlike Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, is that a lot of those passives and skills have a lot of drawbacks, and this time around, they made that a lot better where it doesn't really make you afraid or overthink what skills you have to get and like how much you want to commit to it. So you basically focus is basically like, let's say it focuses on agility, strength, and vitality, you know, warfare and all that. And those skills, they level up if you do those certain activities. For example, if you want to get strength or think like vitality or stamina or something, you go over a fence, and if you really want to grind it, you start jumping over a fence back and forth and it'll level up. Or if you're over cumber, you keep walking like that and your strength will go up super fast. You can also invest into speech. There's no, I did not find a single skill in the game that wasn't useful. Like, they all were useful. Like, I don't know, I personally like them. Well, not skills, I meant more like perks, that's what I meant. The game even rewards you for just like sparring. Like, when you spar, your swordsmanship goes up by a lot. So you could go to like Tomcat and just practice over and over with him, spar with him, and you'll just level it up. Crafting and alchemy is freaking realistic. Like, they make you do the whole process if you were to be blacksmithing or doing alchemy in real life. If you're not a fan of that, there's always a mod that actually accelerates it, but blacksmithing and alchemy could take a long time because you can't mess it up. But at the end, it's really worth it because the higher quality, the game actually rewards you for making a good quality item. But you blacksmith and you're welding it, you know, you hit the hammer, the harder you hit, there's those sparkle things, and you can fuck it up. You got to do it evenly on both sides. So I thought that was actually pretty immersive. The same thing for alchemy. Like, you got to get the plants and really put them. It's not just hit your X button or whatever and just craft it. You actually have to go through the whole process of actually doing it. It's really immersive. I know that not be every person's cup of tea. That's why in the beginning I said that this game would not appeal to everyone. If you're like a really hardcore RPG player, you're going to love this game. As for narrative improvements, the first game wasn't bad, but there was huge improvements in this one. And it actually addressed a lot of issues that the first game have. And I don't want to be too hard on the first game because the first game obviously was their very first game from Warhorse. And if, for those that don't know, Warhorse actually started as a Kickstarter project. This time around, obviously, they have more resources and they actually listened to the players of what they wanted to improve. The narrative, I was actually way funnier in the first one. The first one was really good. I mean, it was good, but I feel like this one really hits way harder. Everything in the game from the NPC to the story feels so down to, like, it feels so real. Like it, and oh my god, you just have to try it. And finally, bless these devs. In this game, they actually got you how to do the combat more in depth, which they didn't do in the first one. Instead of just throwing you into some medieval misery. Let's talk a little bit more about the combat system. So the first game, the combat system was lightly explained, but it was like it didn't make sense to me. This time around, they actually made the combat system really like deep, like it's actually realistic. Like when I was younger, I studied martial arts and swordsmanship, and the era I was training it, and I was actually able to apply the things that I knew into the game, which I thought was actually really cool. You literally gotta focus on the reflexes and the foot, like the footwork. So, you know, like facing the opposite side and etc. There's deflection and, you know, counter attacks. And you can even, like, let's say that you're surrounded, right? Well, you could actually, like in real life, you can use your surroundings to your advantage. So you can just go around and just distract the other one, then slow them down. Also, another thing that I like to do is I go into a close place and run to it. Oh, and when you run, you better be careful because they'll hit you in your back. Try to run to a close place in an area where they'll come one person at a time, just to create, like, you know, just to get that advantage. The NPCs are not like stupid in combat where they keep repeating the same thing. The AI in the game, or whatever, the NPC, whatever you want to call it, actually adapts to your move. So one move is not going to work. Like, it actually learns your move and your attack pattern. So you got to constantly be unpredictable when it comes to combat. And it's going to take you a bit just to get used to it, but I promise it's worth it. Going back to the using your surrounding to your advantage, you can also use that to gain your stamina. Because if your stamina bar is off, you're done. How about breaking your opponent's defense and burning their stamina? Because yes, they also run out of stamina. You can run the NPCs out of stamina. I thought that was really cool. As for the archery, it was actually painfully realistic. When you're doing archery, your hands actually tend to shake a lot. You can get certain pieces for your wrist that'll make your wrist stay more straight when you're aiming, but there's also perks that you can use to improve it as you level up your archery. But yeah, that's archery. I swear, archery is like the hardest thing to do in the game. Crossbows do have more stability, which is usually how things go in real life. As for the graphics and immersion, surprisingly, this game actually looks really beautiful, and the game is so well optimized. Like, it's rare these days when you actually see a game that's well optimized. I even had it on Ultra, and I was getting like 140 or 60 frames, and I was like, holy shit. And I have an RTX 4070 Super, and I was getting really high performance. From like the environmental weather, like if it's raining, good luck seeing it. Like, you could barely see anything because it rains so freaking heavy, you're not going to be able to see shit. You to actually camp out like you would. As for the sound design and music, to be honest, the sound design is freaking god tier. Like, the surround was actually really, like, the audio was actually really realistic. Like, the surround in other games tends to be kind of like iffy, but actually, like, when you turn your ears and stuff, it's like real surround. Like, it actually uses that feature how it's supposed to be met in my headset for freaking once. And the music sticks to medieval instruments. And the game taverns, they make me want to gamble and drink like a medieval crypto bro. Just kidding, kinda. I mean, you could kind of do that by playing this dice game. Now, as for the voice acting, and let's go back a little bit about the performance. The voice acting, it was phenomenal. Nailed the old speech pattern, not only the speech, but even the accents. And like, I think they actually got people who actually speak that language because the accents and the word, the pronunciation and everything, it was just so on point. Going back to performance wise, smooth as freaking butter. Like when I was not on stream playing the game, I would disable DLSS and I really didn't need it because without it, I was getting 188 frames. And I'm like, what? Not even DLSS really enable. That's pretty like nuts. Like this game is just so well optimized. About bugs, to be honest, I didn't really encounter a lot of bugs. I literally only encountered one bug. The biggest bug I would say is sometimes the stairs want to act like they're a boss fight. So I don't know if they fixed this yet, but certain stairs you gotta jump your way up like you're Mario because it gets like stuck. But overall, the game is super stable. So let's talk a little bit about the character development. Let's talk about Sir Capa. Sir Capa in the beginning comes out as a spoiled freaking brat. He's such a fucking dick. So, you know, he's a spoiled noble, basically. Later, he really turns into like a big underdog ally that freaking stands up for the nobles. You can see his character really develop and grow as a character. Not only see his freaking PTSD episodes, but you witness his emotional trauma and his moral struggles. Also, this part of the game where like he has to do something against his morals and he really struggles whether he becomes what he wants to do against. And that's the same thing for Henry too. I feel like we get to know Henry more in depth apart from the other game that you see his past, and they give us a real more depth into what his head is and like what he's been through. Like I feel like Henry is such a beloved character. Like he's so likable and you could just feel what he's feeling. Like these characters are really well written. Even like side characters in the game, they have like really cool backgrounds and you're like, holy shit, these people are legends. Even like small NPCs have like freaking deep ass stories about them. So let's go over my final verdict about the game. The pros and cons. So as the pros, insanely immersive, historically accurate world. That's really deep combat and and just realism and immersiveness in the game. That's a really engages, rich character story and dark humor. The graphics are beautiful. The sound of the game is freaking phenomenal, and it's surprisingly well optimized. As for the freaking cons, as much as I love the game, it has some cons, but it's not a lot of them. So the game in the beginning suffers from really slow pacing in the beginning, but I promise you it'll be worth it. And yeah, minor bugs like as I said before, just stairs. But other than that, this game is definitely a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. If it doesn't win game of the year, I'll be one mad bitch. So would I recommend this game? For a casual player, maybe not. It might not be your cup of tea. But if you're a hardcore RPG player, you'll be hooked at this game. Promise me. I mean, promise you. Whatever. I don't know how to speak English. Like, I've been playing RPGs since I pop out of the womb. Well, not really, but as soon as, like, basically I was able to move my hands and stuff. I've been an RPG lover basically my whole life. And I could honestly say this is one of the best RPGs I've ever experienced. Like, it's up there with Baldur's Gate 3, and maybe, to be honest, it's like a hard competition compared to Baldur's Gate 3, but I feel like, I don't want to say that, it kind of hurts me, but I feel like, I think it is better than Baldur's Gate 3. But screw it, I said it. I like it more than, the thing is, I'm such a Baldur's Gate fan that it hurts me to say it and admit it, but this game definitely beats that one. Okay, that's all for today. If you like this video, just tell me, what was your favorite KCD2 moment? Let me know in the comments or share your experience with the game. And until next time, and remember to always keep it stupid simple.